Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh by Shemel Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who wrote well. Peace and blessings to the whole elect of Israel. This lesson, for some of you, you may not know what the Apocrypha is, but it was taken out of the Old Testament because it, gives clear insight on who the Israelites are and what's about to come and all that. So I'm going to read certain parts or a decent amount of 2nd Esdras chapter 16. Alright. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 16. I'm going to start at verse 1. Because we're coming into these times, man. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. So this is basically telling these heathen nations, especially Edom, to apologize, to feel sorry and shame for what they've done. But, knowing Esau's proud ass, he's not going to feel shame for anything that he's done, but they will in the kingdom, man. Alright, we're going to have peace in the kingdom. We're going to be in rulership. We're going to be able to eat real food, drink real water, breathe real air. Not in this chemtrail bullshit, man. Alright. Verse 3. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Alright. Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? So far it's talking about, when all these calamities come upon the earth, who's going to turn them away? Who's going to remove them? Who's going to, get rid of them, so to speak? So, like, if for example, you start a fire, and you have no way to put it out, who's going to take the fire away? Nobody. If Yahweh, sends plagues and pestilence and wars on the earth, it's not going to stop until it completes its goal. All right, just like some robots, they're programmed to. Well, like in movies, you've seen robots programmed to kill people, and if the specific robot is programmed to kill this person, then they're not going to stop until they finish that goal. All right, so they can't turn that robot back ultimately. All right, except the owner. But Yahweh isn't going to have the plagues be slack upon the earth. He's not going to turn them back until it finishes what it's done. Verse 6. May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire in stubble when it hath begun to burn. May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. Now, these arrows that the scriptures is talking about typically is talking about ICBM nuclear missiles. All right, that's an arrow. It's a mighty arrow that Yahweh and Yahweh Shai are going to put their spirit into to ultimately leave America desolate along with some other countries. All right, because the land of Israel is going to be destroyed and then redone, basically renewed, refreshed. Just like a website, it's not loading or it crashed, or the web page is down, you just press the refresh button and it loads back up new, alright? The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Lord and before the glory of his power. So it's also nuclear missiles, right? Hitting, and causing earthquakes, causing the waves, tsunami. Because if an earthquake happens, tectonic plate, it'll cause a tsunami. Especially if like the San Andreas Fault splits, which I still think it will. That'll cause a tsunami to hit California or wherever the tsunami goes. All right. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. So if you think for a second that, maybe there's a chance these missiles will miss America, you're completely out of your mind, all right? Because these missiles are going to hit America, and there's no way that they're not going to, all right? Every single one of them is going to hit America and destroy it. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again. Slakia. And shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Alright, so this is referring to, well, what I get from this, that precept comes to mind as I think about Matthew chapter 24. But the famine, there will be a famine of thirst and water, but the biggest famine it's talking about is Amos chapter 8, verse 11 to 12, I believe it is, which is the famine of the word, which is coming real soon when they're going to take the men of the Lord off the streets, and they're going to take us off the internet. All right. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. And also another thing, the beginning of wars, it's class wars, race wars, civil wars, world wars, even just wars against so-called terrorism in their country, which will be, Israelites teaching the truth. All right, verse 20. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So that's right. Slakia. So even though this is going to be happening, all these plagues and everything, complete hell on earth, which hell is a condition, we're in hell, but I mean, that's a terminology. When it's completely, all over the place, destroying everything, people eating each other, which is in the scriptures, and people killing each other, looting each other's houses. When people see that, they're still not gonna, feel shame for what they've done and the wickedness that they caused. And we're in the beginning of sorrows. We're in that time right now. Alright, verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion, right? Which is currently happening right now, because people think they're in a good case. They're looking at the NBA playoffs, new albums coming out, so on and so forth, and they think they're in a good case. We're telling them, America's going to get destroyed, and they don't see it. That's because mainstream media is blocking that out. That's because ultimately, they're not looking into that. Because you can easily look up a topic and you can get, things on that. You can just open the Bible. Look at the scriptures, man. It talks about America being destroyed, and we're in those end days. All right? And, the fact that it's not so much that they can't, find that information. It's just that they don't want to see it. They don't want to look that up because this is their kingdom, all right? Just like in 2 Esdras chapter 6 verse 9, it says Esau is the end of the world, Jacob's beginning, right? They don't want to look at their downfall. They want to keep being involved in this mirth and so-called joy for them, man, because this is their heaven. This is their heaven condition, all right? For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. So, if we're part of the elect, and Lord willing we are part of the elect, and Lord willing we can endure these afflictions, right? Lord willing we can continue to push this truth, and Lord willing these prophecies can come, very soon. Like like literal seeing all this hell break loose, but if we're part of the elect, which once again, Lord willing we are, then we're protected, man. All right, but these heathens in 2/3 are not going to have anybody to comfort them, man, and a lot of us brothers aren't going to have anything either, but we're gonna, endure anyways, all right? Because we have Yahweh and Yahweh Shai with us, which is the most important things that you can have, all right? But ultimately, the people that are destined to be destroyed, they're going to be alone, man, on their lonesome. There's going to be nobody to comfort them. They'll probably see some very scary things and they'll start crying and be nobody to hug them or whatever. All right, I'm going to read on, because these next couple of verses is referring to Micah chapter 2 verse 10, because this is not our rest. And also victuals shall be so good cheap. That's also referring to what I get from that as Isaiah chapter 24 verse 11, because it says there's a crying for wine in the street, because the joy and the mirth of the land is darkened. All right, it's gone. All right. Verse 24, there shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men, so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. That's how desperate people are going to be to see somebody else, man. All right, regardless of who that person is, they're going to be so lonely and so, scared that they're going to want to see somebody. It's like you watch a zombie apocalypse movie, which apocalypse means reveal. You watch some end time movie, and there'd be like completely desolate city, nobody, completely abandoned cars and everything. And then one person finds somebody else, and it's like that's their best friend that they haven't seen in a long time, even though they don't know the person. All right, that's what it's going to be like, man, because they're going to be that desperate to find somebody to talk to. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves, and in the clefts of the rocks. As in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel through. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. And the wars, their bridegrooms shall be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Hear now these things, and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Alright, I'm going to read to verse 45, and I'm going to close out. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise, as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth, as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth the vineyard, as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry, as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not, as the widowers. And therefore they that labor in vain. That was the point right there with the Micah chapter 2, right? That if you're trying to build up in this society, you're excited for things, you're looking forward to the future, you're laboring in vain. Everything you know, everything you think you know, it's all in vain, man. Alright, this place is about to go down. Alright, and if you're an Israelite, you shouldn't be trying to build up in this place, because the kingdom we're going to have is going to be made for you, man. And you're going to be able to build up in that kingdom and actually be successful without even doing anything. Alright, so with that said, I want to All praises to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. Salakia, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the whole collective Israel. Shalom.